you to the Western Cape now. In Cape Town, Moms Move for Justice is marching in commemoration of all the victims of crime and violence in the province. The social justice movement was formed by Avril Andrew after her son was murdered in 2015. The mothers say the justice system is just not doing enough to assist them. ENCA's Aisha Ismail is tracking that story. She joins us now live. Aisha, if we just take a listen to some of the stories coming out of Cape Town, people not being able to take their children to school, people lying on the ground eating their supper in case a bullet comes flying through their dining room window. It's an impossible way to live.
That is indeed so, and hundreds of mothers from the Cape Flats gathered here at the Cape of Good Hope, where they talked about their experiences. They shared stories about how they have to live every day fearing the gang violence, and they are traumatized. And they're saying that they thought that the deployment of the army would bring some stability to their lives on the Cape Flats, but sadly that hasn't happened. On the weekend we saw more than 40 murders happening, and this despite increased police and the army being deployed. But they're saying that government is not listening to the voices of the ordinary people. They're saying they want to be part of the solution, but that government is not talking to them. So they're marching to Parliament today. They're handing over a memorandum. They're saying enough is enough. Please consult us. We want to be part of the solution. And earlier I spoke to a community activist and somebody who works for the Cape Town Trauma Centre, Valdi van Rienen LaRue, and she told me about her experience on the Cape Flats and also said that they have set up their own commission of inquiry, a people's commission of inquiry, because they can no longer rely on government for help. So I'm now joined by Valdi, and she's going to talk to us about this people's commission of inquiry. Valdi, how bad is the situation on the Cape Flats?
It's extremely bad. We cannot have children murdered every single day, nor can we have children who are disabled. So we focus on the child murders, but behind all of that, there's been children that have been hurt and whose lives will never be the same. And so we reached a point where we said this is not acceptable, because at the end of the day, as the trauma centre, we can counsel till we're blue in the face. But if we don't look at holistically dealing with this scourge, we are not going to heal people from the trauma that they are experiencing. And so, you know, we started in 2013 already collecting statistics around child murders, and by the time we reached 2016, 2017, we said this can no longer be a paper exercise, that we now need to really lobby for a judicial commission of inquiry. And unfortunately, having lobbied and consulted with the former Premier Helen Zille, Cabinet then refused and rejected our call for a judicial. We went to the petitions committee as well, where the final viewpoint of the petitions committee was that child murders is a priority. However, they would advise us to do public hearings with the Department of Social Development. And when we met with the Department of Social Development, we said, no, we will not partner with you where you have the purse strings and where we will then have to work according to what your political heads are wanting.
Valdi, I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave it at that. The mothers have now marched to Parliament. They're on their way to Parliament, where they will be handing over a memorandum to members of government.
All right, well, thanks very much for that. Aisha Ismail is tracking that story for us from Cape Town.